Rules of Court, Rule 39, Execution, Satisfaction, and Effect of Judgment. Section 1. Execution upon judgment or final orders. Execution shall issue as a matter of right, on motion, upon a judgment or order that is disposes of the action or proceeding, upon the expiration of the period to appeal therefrom, if no appeal has been duly perfected. If the appeal has been duly perfected and finally resolved, the execution may forthwith be applied for in the court of origin, or on motion of the judgment obligee, submitting therewith certified true copies of the judgment or judgments or final order or orders so to be enforced and of the entry thereof with notice to the adverse party. The appellate court may, on motion in the same case, when the interest of justice so requires, direct the court of origin to issue the writ of execution. Section 2. Discretionary execution. A. Execution of a judgment or final order pending appeal. On motion of the prevailing party, with notice to the adverse party filed in the trial court, while it has jurisdiction over the case and is in possession of either the original record or the record on appeal, as the case may be, at the time of the filing of such motion, said court may, in its discretion, order execution of a judgment or final order even before the expiration of the period to appeal. After the trial court has lost jurisdiction, the motion for execution pending appeal may be filed in the appellate court. Discretionary execution may only issue upon good reasons to be stated in special order after due hearing. B. Execution of several separate or partial judgment. A several separate or partial judgment may be executed under the same terms and conditions as execution of judgment or final order pending appeal. Section 3. Stay of discretionary execution. Discretionary execution issued under the preceding section may be stayed upon approval by the proper court of a sufficient supersedes bond filed by a party against whom it is directed, condition upon the performance of the judgment or order allowed to be executed in case it shall be finally sustained in whole or in part. The bond thus given may be proceeded against on motion with notice to the surety. Section 4. Judgment not stayed by appeal. Judgment in actions for injunction, receivership, accounting, and support, and such other judgment as are now or may hereafter be declared to be immediately executory shall be enforceable after their rendition and shall not be stayed by appeal taken therefrom, unless otherwise ordered by the trial court. On appeal therefrom, the appellate court in its discretion may make an order suspending, modifying, restoring, or granting the injunction, receivership, accounting, or award of support. The stay of execution shall be upon such terms as to bond or otherwise as may be considered proper for the security or protection of the rights of the adverse party. Section 5. Effect of reversal of executed judgment. Where the executed judgment is reversed totally or partially or annulled on appeal or otherwise, the trial court may, on motion, issue such orders of restitution or reparation of damages as equity and justice may warrant under the circumstances. Section 6. Execution by motion or by independent action. A final or executory judgment or order may be executed on motion within 5 years from the date of its entry. After the lapse of such time, and before it is barred by the statute of limitations, a judgment may be enforced by action. The revived judgment may also be enforced by motion within 5 years from the date of its entry, and therefrom and thereafter by action before it is barred by the statute of limitation. Section 7. Execution in case of death of party. In case of death of a party, execution may issue or be enforced in the following manner. 1. A. In case of death of the judgment obligee, upon the application of his executor or administrator or successor in interest. B. In case of the death of the judgment obligor against his executor or administrator or successor in interest, if the judgment be for the recovery of a real or personal property or the enforcement of a lender on. C. In case of the death of the judgment obligor, after execution is actually levied upon any of his property, the same may be sold for the satisfaction of the judgment obligation, and the officer making the sale shall account to the corresponding executor or administrator for any surplus in his hands. Section 8. Issuance, form, and contents of a writ of execution. The writ of execution shall 1. Issue the name of the Republic of the Philippines from the court which granted the motion. 2. State the name of the court, the case number and title, the dispositive part of the subject judgment or order. And 3. Require the sheriff or other proper officer to whom it is directed to enforce the writ according to its terms in the manner hereinafter provided. A. If the execution be against the property of the judgment obligor, to satisfy the judgment with interest out of the real or personal property of such judgment obligor. B. If it's against real or personal property in the hands of personal representative, heirs, devisees, legatees, tenants, or trustees of the judgment obligor, to satisfy the judgment with interest out of such property. C. If it be for the sale of real or personal property, to sell such property, describing it, and apply the proceeds in conformity with the judgment, the material parts of which shall be recited in the writ of execution. D. If it be for the delivery of the possession of real or personal property, to deliver the possession of the same, describing it, to the party entitled thereto, and to satisfy any costs, damages, rents, or profits covered by the judgment out of the personal property of the person against whom it was rendered. And if sufficient personal property cannot be found, then out of the real property. And E. In all cases, the writ of execution shall specifically state the amount of the interest, costs, damages, rents, or profits due as to the date of the issuance of the writ, aside from the principal obligation under the judgment. For this purpose, the motion for execution shall specify the amounts of the foregoing reliefs sought by the movant. Section 9. Execution of judgment for money. How enforce? A. Immediate payment on demand. The officer shall enforce an execution of a judgment for money by demanding from the judgment obligor the immediate payment of the full amount stated in the writ of execution and all lawful fees. The judgment obligor shall pay in cash, certified bank check payable to the judgment obligee, or any other form of payment acceptable to the latter. The amount of the judgment set under proper receipt directly to the judgment obligee or his authorized representative if present at the time of payment. The lawful fees shall be handed under proper receipt to the executing sheriff, who shall turn over the said amount within the same day to the clerk of the court that issued the writ. If the judgment obligee or his authorized representative is not present to receive payment, the judgment obliger shall deliver the aforesaid payment to the executing sheriff. The latter shall turn over all the amounts coming into his possession within the same day to the clerk of the court that issued the writ, or if the same is not practicable, deposit said amount to a fiduciary account. If the nearest government depository bank of the deposit said amount to a fiduciary account in the nearest government depository bank of the regional trial court of the locality. The clerk of said court shall thereafter arrange for the remittance of the deposit to the account of the court that issued the writ, whose clerk of court shall then deliver said payment to the judgment obligee in satisfaction of the judgment. The excess, if any, shall be delivered to the judgment obligor, while the lawful fees shall be retained by the clerk of court for deposition as provided by law. In no case shall the executing sheriff demand that any payment by check be made payable to him. B. Satisfaction by levy. If the judgment obligor cannot pay all or part of the obligation in cash, certified bank check, or other mode of payment acceptable to the judgment obligee, the officer shall levy upon the properties of the judgment obligor of any kind and nature whatsoever which may be disposed of for value and not otherwise exempt from execution, giving the latter the option to immediately choose which property or part thereof may be levied upon, sufficient to satisfy the judgment. If the judgment obligor does not exercise the option, the officer shall first levy on the personal properties, if any, and then on the real properties, if the personal properties are insufficient to answer for the judgment. The sheriff shall sell only a sufficient portion of the personal or real property of the judgment obligor which has been levied upon. When there is more property of the judgment obligor that is sufficient to satisfy the judgment and lawful fees, he must sell only so much of the personal or real property as is sufficient to satisfy the judgment and lawful fees. Real property, stocks, shares, debts, credits, and other personal property or any interest in either real or personal property may be levied upon in a like manner and with like effect as under a writ of attachment. C. Garnishment of debts and credits. The officer may levy on debts due to the judgment obligor and other credits, including bank deposits, financial interest, royalties, commissions, and other personal property not capable of manual delivery in the possession or control of third parties. Levy shall be made by serving notice upon the person owing such debts or having in his possession or control such credits to which the judgment obligor is entitled. The garnishment shall cover only such amount as will satisfy the judgment and all lawful fees. The garnishee shall make a written report to the court within 5 days from service of the notice of garnishment, stating whether or not the judgment obligor has sufficient fund or credit to satisfy the amount of the judgment. If not, the report shall state how much funds or credits the garnishee to holds for the judgment obligor. The garnished amount in cash or certified bank check issued in the name of the judgment obligee shall be delivered directly to the judgment obligee within 10 working days from service of notice on the said garnishee requiring such delivery, except the lawful fees which shall be paid directly to the court. In the event there are two or more garnishes holding deposits or credits sufficient to satisfy the judgment obligor, if available, shall have the right to indicate the garnishee or garnishes who shall be required to deliver the amount due. Otherwise, the choice shall be made by the judgment obligee. The executing sheriff shall observe the same procedure under paragraph A with respect to delivery of payment to the judgment obligee. Section 10. Execution of judgment for a specific act. A. Conveyance, delivery of deeds, or other specific acts, vesting title. If a judgment directs a party to execute a conveyance of land or proper or personal property, or to deliver deeds or other documents, or to perform any other specific act in connection therewith, and the party fails to comply within the time specified, the court may direct the act to be done at the cost of the disobedient party by some other person appointed by the court, and the act, when so done, shall have like effect as if done by the party. If real or personal property is situated within the Philippines, the court, in lieu of directing a conveyance thereof, may, by an order, divest the title of any party and vest it in others, which shall have the force and effect of a conveyance executed in due form of law. B. Sale of real or personal property. If the judgment be for the sale of real or personal property, to sell such property, describing it, and apply the proceeds in conformity with the judgment. C. Delivery or restitution of real property. The officer shall demand of the person against whom the judgment for the delivery or restitution of real property is rendered, and and all persons claiming rights under him to peaceably vacate the property within 3 working days, and restore possession thereof to the judgment obligee. Otherwise, the officer shall ouse all such persons therefrom within the assistance, if necessary, of appropriation peace officers, and employing such means as may be reasonably necessary to retake possession and place the judgment obligee in the possession of such property. Any cost, damages, rents, or profits awarded by the judgment shall be satisfied in the same manner as a judgment for money. D. Removal of improvements on property subject of execution. When the property subject of the execution contains improvement constructed or planted by the judgment obligor or his agent, the officer shall not destroy, demolish, or remove said improvements except upon special order of the court, issued upon motion of the judgment obligee after due hearing and after the former has failed to remove the same within reasonable time fixed by the court. C. Delivery of personal property. In judgment for the delivery of personal property, the officer shall take possession of the same and forthwith deliver it to the party entitled thereto, and satisfy any judgment for money as therein provided.